Loose ball tracked down here by the Mountaineers for Tacey Howell. And the throw-in taken quickly for Trinity. Alexandra shot, pirouettes in midfield, lays it back. Stafford here puts the pressure on Walbrick. Runs out of room. And now Stafford's throw-in towards Hendricks, flick towards goal. Goes all the way through for a goal kick. Zingelman now on the ball. Looks for the direct service in behind for Sheridan. And once again, the flag goes up here. A couple of early offside calls going against Trinity. As the Mountaineers deploy a high line early on in this game. 3 minutes into the action. We apologize for any early audio technical difficulties. Howell here rolls it across for Chloe Mills. Schreiner caught in possession here, looking to build out of the back as Ruiz pass is intercepted by Beal. Zingelman, again the ball in behind. Sheridan will give chase, but this one will run all the way through to Rivera. Audrey Rivera making her 20th career collegiate appearance back in her hometown. Shot turns past Beal, and there's space in midfield now for Cancino. Ball down the left wing for Bonnie Evans, the junior out of Corpus Christi. And she's won a corner kick here. Encouragement coming from the Mountaineers bench down to my left. And they'll line up the set piece here. Extra runner now coming out from the back. It's Bonnie Evans who won this corner. She's amongst the Mountaineers who make the run into the box. Lewis gets a hand on it. And the follow-up shot from Schott flies over the bar. Or does it? I looked away, and the Schreiner Mountaineers have today's opening goal. Apologize for the confusion here, and we'll get a look at what happened as the early corner kick for the Mountaineers pays dividends. Lewis gets hands on it, and Schott's follow-up effort loops over the Trinity goalkeeper and into the back of the net for a shock lead now for the visitors. And right up the other end now, Sheridan in behind. The flag stays down this time. Sheridan looks to get around the goalkeeper. Diving down to her left, Audrey Rivera makes a big save to preserve the lead. Big wake-up call now for Trinity playing their final game here at home in SCAC regular season play. Of course, they've already lost the long-standing win streak away from home this season to the Southwestern Pirates, who are, as of now, poised to take the #1 spot in the upcoming SCAC championship tournament. Another ball in behind, too strong for Katie Ward. Coming into today's game, Trinity at 5-1, Southwestern at 4-0-0, with 2 less games played. And if they stay perfect the rest of the way, they'll take the #1 seed. It has been held by Trinity for over a decade. Southwestern boasting an impressive 12-1 record as well. But for Schreiner, who lead today's game 0-12-3, they haven't won in a couple years after going 0-8 in the spring season. But they lead the nation's number 23 ranked team. And it seems like there's only one way this game will go from here, as Trinity have gotten in behind quite a few times already. But will that early effort from Alexandra's shot perhaps be a knockout blow? A lot of soccer still to be played. And I think once Trinity navigate this offsides trap, as they have here, Katie Ward in behind, the flag stays down. Slightly overhit by Zingelman. Once the Tigers navigate the offside trap, they're going to get an opportunity, as Sheridan did in the immediate wake of the goal. But the Mountaineers will be in no hurry, as we saw there with Audrey Rivera. Until Trinity find their footing offensively. Flag will go up here once again against Sheridan. And all the energy is with the visitors to my left here on Alumni Weekend. Some former Trinity Tigers checking in to watch their alma mater. And the only home game of the weekend for the women's side, as the men play 2 SCAC matchups this year on Alumni Weekend. Here's Stafford in behind. Isolates the defender and swings in the left-footed cross, deflected behind. Corner coming. Stafford swings the low service towards the near post, and it never reaches anyone on the field of play. Straight behind for a goal kick. Trinity facing off against the Mountaineers twice in the shortened spring season. It was a 4-0 game when the Tigers traveled up to Kerrville, and then a tournament record 9-0 win for Trinity in the quarterfinals of the SCAC tournament. Right here at Paul McGinley Field, at the moment, it's the Mountaineers in charge, as Beal puts a stop to Chloe Mills' charge down the right wing. Walsh back to Wallace, into the feet of Katie Ward. As you see the high line being deployed by Schreiner. Trinity yet to break it down. Wallace scoops this one forward. Mills sends it downfield, and Musasa's beaten to it not once but twice by Beal. Encino allowed the turn. Tally unable to hold it up. Another local product from James Madison High School. And the Schreiner team. Stafford asking for the ball down the left right now as Zingelman finds it. Lifts it in behind for Stafford to chase. Bounces once before Ryan Ruiz puts it out for a Trinity throw. Stafford again looks to get to the end line. Better service this time off the left foot. And Everts misses from close range. First sub of the game being prepared by the Mountaineers, as they go short here from the goal kick. Chloe Mills ball forward all the way through to Bailey Meyer. Wallace, way too much on that one. Coach Harrison, as you can probably hear, up off his bench. So far, the Tigers playing right into the hands of the Mountaineers, who have their goal from the set piece, corner kick, early on in the action. And since then, the offside trap have kept Trinity from getting any chances on goal. This one in behind for Emma Everts. She's got runners to aim at now in the penalty area. It's through for Katie Ward and breaks for Stafford at the back post. She swings underneath it. Shot off target. Now Taylor Merritt enters the game for the Mountaineers. Phoebe Musasa comes to the bench. Merritt, another San Antonio native from William Taft High School. Here's her first involvement as Zingelman pokes it away and Walsh dribbles it clear. Beal lays it wide for Everts and goes on the overlap. Everts runs into two maroon-clad Mountaineers. Wallace cleans it up. Katie Ward here towing the offside line. And again, the flag goes up. That one looked close. Onto the service coming from the left foot of Ashlyn Zingelman. Trying the offside flag now 5 times in the opening 13 minutes. Ruiz, the header downfield. Zingelman tries to control it. Gives that possession to Walbrick. Stafford, another foot on the ball. And Trinity thought they had the throw. Instead, it goes the way of the Mountaineers. Stafford commits the foul as Mills goes to ground. And another set piece opportunity for the Mountaineers. This one will be lined up by senior defender Tacey Howell. Coming off her first 2 collegiate goals, one from a penalty kick and one from a free kick in the 2-2 senior day draw with Austin College last week. Couldn't work it to similar effect this time. And Sheridan again is offside. Infuriatingly so for anyone of a Trinity persuasion. It's a unique challenge for the Tigers, who haven't seen this type of defensive line, at least here at home this season. Often the task is to break down a team that sits really deep, and at the moment Trinity not even allowed to get close to goal because of this high line. To an extent, though, it is playing with fire for the visitors. All it takes is one perfectly timed run, and it'll be 1-on-1, maybe even 2-on-1 for Audrey Rivera, the goalkeeper. Lauren Lewis in your shot here, making her second start for Trinity. She's now conceded once in each game. Was on the field when Trinity beat East Texas Baptist earlier this year 4-1. Coach Harrison will hope for, at minimum, a similar scoreline. 15 minutes have gone now, and it's the Mountaineers in the lead. Zingelman rolls it forward for Sheridan. Defender on her back, and she can't control. As the long ball sent forward, looking for Merritt, the substitute. Cleared away by Bailey Meyer and controlled by Hendricks. Zingelman put under pressure, forced to concede the throw. You can see everybody up and standing on the Trinity bench. No changes forthcoming. Despite the early action going far from Coach Harrison's plan. Two Trinity Tigers converge on the ball, and it breaks for Katie Ward. Her opposite number 4, Tacey Howell, follows her back into midfield, and it's lifted in behind. Alex Walsh gives chase as Blackwell makes a mistake. Walsh too quick, able to turn and put it across for Sheridan. Tangle the legs. And the referee's given a foul here against Trinity. Coach Harrison not happy with that call, as it just looked like Rivera failed to deal with it. The restart taken by Howell. Not much distance behind it, and Trinity immediately gained possession. Beal rolls it down the line, looking for Katie Ward. Ward turns away from Evans and now swings it in. No one on the end of it for the Tigers. And Wallace will pick it up here, get the ball going once again with a throw. Walsh laid back for Hendricks, who'll have the pop from distance. Shot deflected into the path now of Katie Ward. Caught it sweetly on the volley. And just dipped away from the far post. For head coach Ebony Campbell in her second season at the helm for the Mountaineers. It's an unfamiliar leading position for a second straight game, as the Kangaroos, who grabbed the final goal in the 2-2 draw after Schreiner led throughout the second half last Sunday. I don't think even in her wildest dreams last night she would have expected to see Schreiner in the lead here with a 5th-minute goal coming from Alexandra's shot following a corner kick. And so far the defensive strategy working to perfection, as Rivera will allow this one to just sit at her feet until Katie Ward closes her down. Ball bounces over the head of Cameron Beal. And now on the charge, Taylor Merritt, who commits the foul, trying to get beyond Wallace. And the referee in discussion with Taylor Merritt, who kicked the ball away. No yellow card, though. Stafford pokes it down the line for Sheridan. A couple of kicks from behind, and eventually Sheridan goes tumbling. Two goals and an assist for Molly Sheridan in the tournament matchup between these teams last season. One of 3 Trinity players to finish with that stat line is Katie Ward and Del Preti. Also scored twice and assisted once. And they'll need that type of offensive explosion to come from behind here, as Everett is down the line and runs out of room. Miranda Palacios into the game now for Natalie Talley. Palacios from Douglas MacArthur High School in town. enter into the midfield battle up against Cameron Beal, who wins the header. Settled by Katie Ward. Now on the dribble. And the back line fully retreated here just outside the penalty area. Sheridan down the line for Trinity. Again, the defender on her back. As the Mountaineers get the last touch. You see only one shot for Schreiner. A looping effort that found its way into the back of the net over the head of Lauren Lewis. Trinity looking to respond here. 22 minutes gone. Everts can't keep the cross in play. Sheridan will come across to put an end to the short goal kick. As the Mountaineers go long, it's flicked on by a shot, the goal scorer. But arrives at the feet of Cece Hendricks nonetheless. Ball forward by Wallace is cut out. Possession regained by Everts. Sense of urgency for Trinity with every ball that goes out of play or every free kick given. Just to get it back going, every second's going to count here. As Schreiner have their goal and have no ambitions of going for a second at the moment. It's all about protecting the lead through any means possible. We've already seen Rivera holding the ball with her feet. I mean, understandably so. A lead's going to be even sweeter for a team that hasn't been in the win column in a couple of seasons. As the ball swung across now. And it breaks at the back post for Hendricks. It's tipped over the bar by Audrey Rivera. Good effort there from the senior out of South Carolina. Good power just right at the goalkeeper, but it leads to a Trinity corner. Stafford needs a better service than last time, and it is towards the back post. Off the head of Ashlyn Zingelman. Couldn't steer it on target. And it'll be a goal kick now for Tacey Howell.
He sure is.
Howell's goal kick met by Reese Wallace. Second ball won by the Mountaineers. Sent down the field back into Reese Wallace.
But as you can see, the F stop on here is 280. So what I have right now is the settings that I just used on that display. So this is
Everts takes the throw into the feet of Walsh.
so I just shot 16s over
More energy from the forward, Taylor Merritt, making things difficult for Trinity at the back.
But so now if I use
Beal, ball down the line, well weighted for Molly Sheridan. 3 runners to aim at as Sheridan whips it in low towards the near post. Beal looking to get on the end of the loose ball.
so then keep in mind this is the photo that I just took with that other one on there. So
Last touch off Cameron Beal.
after
Goal kick coming for the Mountaineers as we approach 20 minutes to play here in the first half.
right, so now the sacrifice is
If you're just joining in, Alexandra Schott gave Schreiner the shock lead in the 5th minute from a corner kick. You see plenty of Mountaineers fans have made the trip just down the road from Kerrville.
because what you'll do over time is just write this down.
Plenty of Trinity fans on the other side will be rooting for a comeback here on Alumni Weekend.
So
Ball bounces up into the stands. Bonnie Evans
better
retrieves it
which effect is going
and takes the throw.
and then
The 2 Trinity defenders there getting in each other's way. Either way, it's the Tigers that come away with it. Zingelman wide for Stafford. Lifted in behind early, and Sheridan's in behind now. The flag stays down. Poke to her right for Walsh, who's there in time, and Trinity have the equalizer. So first goal of the season for Alex Walsh as Molly Sheridan laid it across to make sure. In doing so, she gave Alex Walsh quite the chase to beat the ball to the end line. The goal's been ruled out here. And now with that information, we might go back and look at the replay once again. I think it's been ruled out for offside. It's definitely not offside here.
Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Look at that. We're not going to make a decision simple. Okay? It's already done.
I think you can hear the fallout from the decision to rule out the goal for Alex Walsh, which would have been her first of the season. And the cheer came from the Schreiner end after the applause first came from the Trinity side. And the ball taken from the area, it'd be taken for a goal kick, which indicates maybe they thought the ball went out of play. If that was true, Alex Walsh's finish even more impressive. If it was for offside, it would have been near the top of the box. Not sure anyone is really sure. It's Coach Harrison demanding answers. Trinity still searching now for the equalizer as Beal's long-range effort is controlled by Rivera.
Generally, we get these photos where we get kids playing, but like, she was cheering from the bench over here, right? Like, fans in the stand typically don't care about the rest.
Stafford shields it out of play, and the throw controlled by Walsh. 3 defenders around. She lays it back at the feet of Hendricks. And Trinity rotate through. Now down the right side. Again, the Mountaineers hold the high line. This time the flag stays down. Katie Ward bearing down on goal. And she makes no mistake. And there's no late call for the referee to make. Katie Ward finds the equalizing goal moments after Walsh thought it was hers. And now Trinity will go in search of the lead, finally having beat the offside trap. Good finish, tucked inside the near post as Rivera came out to close down the angle. An 11th goal of the season for Katie Ward, who's in double digits for both goals and assists. He's the first Trinity player with 10 in both categories since 2017 when Colleen Markey and Julia Camp both did it. Chelsea Cole's best season had over 20 goals with only 9 assists, so she didn't quite qualify for my arbitrarily selected stat, despite her illustrious goal-scoring career. It's the most assists in the season for Trinity since Nia Shepherd in 2019. She had 13. Zingelman won't be able to keep this in play off the head of Cameron Beal. Sense of urgency still present for Trinity, although not as pressing. Now that they're back level. Zingelman down the field. It's flicked on by Ruiz. Nearly broke for Trinity. And unlike last weekend where my laptop took a tumble from a loose ball, this time I was ready. As it bounced off the field of play into the booth here. Katie Ward picks it up. 3 defenders around her. That's not enough. She beats all 3. Slips in it behind now for Molly Sheridan, whose shot is saved by Rivera. The follow-up from Everts turned goalwards and cleared away. Loose ball retrieved by Wallace. Past her defender. And the low ball in now finds the feet of Sheridan, who can't control it. Can't keep her balance either. She goes to ground alongside 2 Schreiner Mountaineers in the penalty area. Zingelman now stepping into midfield. Under hits the pass. intended for Stafford. Gets it there with the second opportunity. And Beal lays it back for Bailey Meyer. He's got time and lifts it in behind. It'll hold up here in front of Emma Everts as the flag stays down. Plenty of white jerseys to aim at as it's across for Sheridan. And now Alex Walsh has her goal. This one should count as order is restored here at Paul McGinley Field. Just like it was meant to be 10 or so minutes ago, it's Sheridan to Alex Walsh. This time, though, it gives Trinity the lead. First goal of the season for the senior out of Tulsa.
Molly Sheridan.
For Sheridan, now up to 10 goals and 9 assists, closing in on the double-double, so to speak. Hendricks shields this one out of play and takes it quickly. Finds the feet of Sheridan, who fizzes it in towards Stafford. Hold up play here for Merritt. Zingelman going to ground, gets a foot on the ball, and it breaks for Molly Sheridan. Can't connect with her strike partner. Chloe Mills skips past Emma Everts the first time. Everts too quick, able to get back onto it. Wallace will switch the play. Zingelman takes it on the volley in behind for Sheridan, and the flag goes up. Sixth offside decision to go against Trinity so far. As you see the incidental nutmeg there against Everts. And all the early energy afforded Schreiner by the opening goal seems to have evaporated from their camp, as they're still in no hurry to get the play restarted despite now finding themselves behind. Courtney Rosales came into the game in the wake of the goal. This is her ball down the line, intended for the other substitute, Taylor Merritt. Walsh giving up a lot of height in that battle, and the Mountaineers come away with it. Put him behind once again for Merritt. Zingelman up to the task, pokes it down the line for Stafford. Cuts past both defenders. Firm pass into the feet of Sheridan. Now Katie Ward on the turn. Sheridan looking to hold her run, as it's poked in behind for Stafford. Couldn't quite track it down. Meyer with the firm header that nearly broke for a teammate. I think it was intended as a clearance, came as a through ball. Stafford able to win it straight from the punt, and Sheridan draws the foul from Ryan Ruiz. Both coaches making multiple changes at the next opportunity. Trinity go quickly from the free kick. Everts down the line. The low ball in. Cameron Beal controls it and fires the low shot. It's controlled by Audrey Rivera. Her fifth save of the evening. Zingelman volleys and then heads forward from the punt. And Hendricks will lay it back now to Reese Wallace. Katie Ward brings it under control. 2 defenders around her. 4 Trinity Tigers, now 5 to her left. As Cameron Beal checks in short near the edge of the area. Katie Ward gets to the end line. Her cross blocked behind. Forward corner. Mikulski, Bowers, and Wickham into the game now for the home team. Quiroga and Rand into the game for the first time for the Mountaineers. Everts, Sheridan, and Walsh. We'll head to the bench for Trinity. Walsh should have had 2 goals. Will settle for her first of the season, the go-ahead goal as it stands. Mikulski's first involvement is to swing the corner in. It's a good ball, and it's headed towards the back post. It's a rugby scrum in front of the net, and the Mountaineers come out on top, clearing that one away, avoiding Trinity third here with 10 minutes to go in the first half. Beal cleans up what was a rough first touch. Couldn't swing a ball in. It's behind now for a goal kick. Zingelman gets the shot on target. It's actually a great clearance from Rosales. And then another clearance coming from Chloe Mills. 2 balls cleared off the line there for the Mountaineers to prevent the Trinity third. Mikulski can't prevent it from going out of play. She's won it back here though, off the foot of Quiroga. Meyer rolls it to her left for Zingelman, who lifts it in behind for Katie Ward. The flag will stay down here as Katie Ward takes the shot on. And the goalkeeper off her line, able to make the save. On a sizzling volley from Katie Ward. Meyer brings it into the attacking half for Trinity. Goes straight to the left side with Stafford. In behind now for Bowers. Bowers just holds the defender off so well. And now it's with Hendricks. His first touch closed down the angle for the shot. Zingelman swings in a left-footed ball on the follow-up. Now Bowers once again matched up with Rosales. Trinity go quickly from the throw. It's back out wide now with Stafford. Hooks it forward for Bowers. And Rosales now plays it out. Bowers proving a lot to handle for Courtney Rosales, the first year at a New Braunfels. Hendricks appealing for contact in the penalty area there. Hendricks rolls it across the top of the box and is onto it just as she had gotten up off the ground. Zingelman with the clearance. Comfortable for Mikulski. Wallace goes straight into the feet of Katie Ward. Skips past her defender and puts it wide for Mikulski, who's offside. Ty not going to the runner at the moment for the referee's assistant on the far side. As Trinity have been whistled for offside 7 times, including one which waved off the goal. Would have been Alex Walsh's. She eventually got it, assisted by Molly Sheridan in the 30th minute to give Trinity the lead here in the first half. Katie Ward helps it on. Eventually Bowers onto it. Puts it in behind for Stafford, who's got all kinds of room to run. Katie Ward working to get in the penalty area alongside her. Stafford lays it across. And Katie Ward has the finishing touch. Bowers started the move. It was a great ball in behind for Kira Stafford. And don't underestimate the assist for the Albuquerque, New Mexico native.
Tigers, number 9, Emily Hayes.
Put it in the right place, but without too much pace where it would have been difficult for Katie Ward to track it down. And encouragement from Coach Harrison for both of the players who set up the goal, and of course for Katie Ward, who scores her 12th of the season. Second straight matchup with Schreiner, where she's been on the score sheet twice. And Trinity have turned an early deficit into a 3-1 lead with still 6.5 to play in the opening 45 minutes. Mikulski directing traffic, tries to lift him in behind for Bowers. Katie Ward now on the dribble. Beautiful ball to split 2. And it breaks now for Bowers at the top of the box. She's crowded out. But Katie Ward now looking for a hat trick. That's the shot wide. And will now be replaced by Michaela Bosco.
Michaela Bosco.
Not a bad replacement for Katie Ward. Michaela Bosco, 5 goals and 5 assists off the bench this season. And she'll play alongside Cassie Bowers in the Trinity front line. Elena Wickham, the most advanced of the midfielders behind. Emily Hayes now onto the field as the left midfielder, and here's Mikulski playing on the right. Back 6 remains unchanged for Coach Harrison. So we played 40 minutes. Wickham here wins the corner. Last corner kick for Trinity, so nearly resulting in a goal. Zingelman's been the target. Well, she hasn't turned anything on frame just yet. This time it's looking for Hendricks. And Wickham keeps it alive, fires the ball in. Last touch off the Mountaineers. And Mikulski out to do it again. Mikulski lofts this one in, bounces off the crossbar. Unexpectedly so. No one there to turn it home as everybody had committed to their runs and ended up in the goal. Bosco looking for Bowers. Cleared away for Trinity throw. Tigers 17 shots, 10 on target. 1 shot, 1 on goal for Schreiner, leading to that early lead. It came from a corner kick. And it took Trinity 23 minutes to find the equalizer through Katie Ward. And then Alex Walsh gave Trinity the lead. Katie Ward with her second of the evening. And now the Tigers lead by 2. They won't add to it this time as that one's overhit.
For the Tigers, number 2, Meredith McAllister.
McAllister onto the field now for Zingelman. Playing in a different role as a part of the back line. Wallace, another converted midfielder, playing alongside Bailey Meyer. Here's the first touch for Meredith McAllister. Lays it back for Bailey Meyer, the junior captain. Twice been selected Defensive Player of the Week for the conference this season. Trinity winning that award 4 times in total across the team. Bosco gets to the end line, swings one across for Bowers. And Trinity make it 4. Normal services truly resumed here at Paul McGinley Field, as that early deficit put squarely in the rearview mirror. Good work by the substitutes as Bosco puts it across for Bowers. Her 4th goal of the season. To go with the assist she picked up earlier in this half. For Michaela Bosco, now her 6th assist on the year. Wickham straight onto it from the kickoff. Bosco allowed to turn, lays it wide for Mikulski. The early cross, not a bad idea. Bounced perilously in front of Audrey Rivera. Sends a booming punt down the field. No one there in maroon. It's controlled by Wallace. McAllister gets her head up, looks for the switch ball towards Mikulski. Beal onto the loose ball as the Mountaineers really struggling to keep up at the moment. The final few minutes of the first half, it's been all Trinity. And as I mentioned early on, it was really about Trinity breaking that offside trap. The first time it happened, the Mountaineers were let off the hook by an errant offside flag. After that, Trinity knew how to do it. And sometimes it's as simple as seeing it go in the net. And since that offside goal, 4 for the Tigers, they're looking for a 5th here in the final seconds of the half. As Bosco keeps it in play. And the Mountaineers looking to play through Trinity's pressure. Breaks for Wallace now, about 40 from goal. Is it wide for Mikulski? Time for her to put one last service into the box, and she will do so. A low ball intended for Bowers. Cleared away by the Mountaineers, who had their moment in the sun here in the first half.
10 seconds, 9, 8.
And I'm sure it'll be a learning opportunity for a young head coach in Ebony Campbell and a young team who looks like are still on the hunt for a first win in 2 seasons. As they give up the early lead, here it came from Alexandra's shot. Lauren Lewis got a hand to it, and the ball lifted high into the sky. Everybody, including myself, thinking it was going over the crossbar. Instead, got down just in time. Katie Ward drew level for the Tigers. Everett's ball across came for Sheridan, who assisted Alex Walsh on the go-ahead goal. And potentially the pass of the half from Cassie Bowers to put Stafford in behind. And another candidate, the ball across for Katie Ward, perfectly weighted for Kira Stafford. Katie Ward gets her 2nd goal of the half. She was then replaced by Michaela Bosco, who got to the end line and put the ball across for Cassie Bowers and the Trinity 4th. The Tigers responding in a big way, and they have the lead we expected them to at halftime. Stick with the live pictures as they'll be the running of the Cubs, a fun alumni weekend tradition here on campus over the halftime break. We'll be back in 13 minutes and 45 seconds. You're watching Trinity Women's Soccer on the Tiger Network. Two teams retaking the field here for the second half of action in SCAC play. Trinity concluding their regular season home schedule tonight and leading 4-1 coming out of the halftime break. It was Schreiner who took a shock lead in the 5th minute as Alexandra's shot looped one over Lauren Lewis for the opening goal. That was Schreiner's only effort towards Lauren Lewis in the first half. Trinity took 23 minutes and took a couple of chances that were ruled offside before finally finding the equalizing goal as Katie Ward, assisted by Reese Wallace, made it 1-1 in the 28th minute. A couple minutes later, Alex Walsh got her first goal of the season, assisted by Molly Sheridan. And then the insurance goals coming from Katie Ward and Cassie Bowers. 43rd minute in the first half. Bowers with a goal and an assist, a really impressive performance off the bench. And in part because of her work, it's 4-1 here for the Tigers. Looks like the same 11 that started tonight's game. Back out there once again to start the second half for Coach Harrison. And Schreiner again threatening right from the off. This time, though, Cameron Beal not going to let anything go awry. That's the first we've seen of Phoebe Musasa since she played the opening 10 minutes of this game. And was then replaced by Taylor Merritt, who showed some good signs coming off the Schreiner bench in terms of hold-up play and energy, pressing the Trinity back line. In total, Trinity with 21 shots, 12 on goal, 6 corner kicks, and 7 offsides in the first half. That's a big talking point. Alex Walsh's first goal ruled out. Plenty of other Trinity chances put to rest by the officials' flag on the far side, which is raised here once again, indicating a Trinity goal kick. Playing now under the lights here on this fine Friday night alumni weekend on campus, and plenty of Trinity alum back celebrating and cheering on their team. Saw the running of the Cubs, the annual alumni weekend tradition of all the kids out there playing at halftime. Always fun to see, bringing the good vibes. Schreiner again threatening from a set piece here early on in the half. Tacey Howell comes across to set it up. She scored a free kick in the Schreiner draw with Austin College last time out. This time she'll swing it in, looking for a teammate. It's a good ball, allowed to bounce inside the 6. And Katie Ward will shield it out of play. Coach Harrison and the coaching staff not going to be happy with the set piece defending today from the Tigers. Even though that one doesn't end up in the back of the net, allowing it to bounce so close to goal, certainly frowned upon. That's another good ball in for Tacey Howell. But the Mountaineers couldn't do anything with it, and now they're being made to pay at the other end as Sheridan's found the loose ball. Katie Ward waits in the middle. It's through for Katie Ward, who's offside. Just leaning wrong side of the line. Schreiner continuing with a relatively high line here in the second half despite the score line. Beal gets a foot on it. Straight from the restart, sends it all the way through to Audrey Rivera. Put up 8 saves in the first half. And Walsh leaves this one now for Katie Ward. This one orchestrated to beat the offside trap as Ward fizzes it across into the waiting arms of Audrey Rivera. And if we can get a replay of that just to look at what Trinity did tactically, placing Alex Walsh in an offside position. The senior then leaves it, not involved in the play. Means the flag won't go up against her. That seems to be the key adjustment for Coach Harrison coming out of the break. And there's the subsequent cross from Katie Ward. So keep an eye out for Trinity players just hanging out in an offside position. Looking to put some confusion, some doubt into the Schreiner back line. Schreiner back line that held firm, held the lead until the 28th minute. Another offside flag up against Trinity. That's the 8th, now 9th in 50 minutes of action. Howell tries to roll it out for a teammate, easily intercepted by Stafford. Stafford looking to weave through a couple defenders, took a bump. Referee says not enough for a foul. Misasa gets it wide for Evans. And they win it back, send it down the line for Katie Ward. Defender on her back. As Katie Ward with the drop of the shoulders, pass 2. Couldn't find the ball out for Sheridan. And the pass intended for Reese Wallace runs out of room. Schreiner coming in front. Schreiner throw-in coming in front of the Trinity bench. Walsh, sweet feet there in between 2 defenders. Eventually it is poked away from her by Cancino. Possession stays with the Tigers. Putting behind now for Stafford to chase. Seems like at this point, anytime Trinity get in behind, the flag goes up. They've certainly been close, and there have been quite a few personally that I've disagreed with, particularly with the benefit of replay, which of course the officials don't have, crucially. Everett's back onto it after she initially lost it. Down the line for Katie Ward. Runs into Howell. Peel across for Hendricks. And this time the flag goes up, and it looks like it, as both Walsh and Ward made their runs in behind. Now up to double digits in terms of offsides. Approaching the number of shots on goal for Trinity, which at the moment stands at 12. Hendricks unable to control it straight from the long ball. And a tackle coming in from behind. Late from Phoebe Misasa. And she'll go into the book. I think that's the minimum. A lunging tackle from behind. Always dangerous, particularly in that instance when Stafford was just seeing it over the line, nothing there. Beal wins it back high up the field, and it's in behind now for Katie Ward, looking for her hat trick, and she has it. Second hat trick of the year for Katie Ward. Came from good work in midfield. Cameron Beal and Trinity now out of sight early on in the second half.
By Katie Ward.
Discussion short and sweet on the Schreiner bench as Natalie Talley has ended the game to replace Charlie Rand in the wake of the goal. Trinity coming out with a lot more energy to start the second half than they did in the first. The slow start forcing them to play from behind. But really this entire game has been about navigating the offside line. As there's a scramble here with Hendricks on the ground. Trinity eventually come away with it. And Katie Ward in behind now. Flag is going to stay down. She's got Sheridan waiting in the middle, completely unmarked as the ball's fizzed across. At the cross off the mark. Everts puts it across for Beal. Ward lays it off for Walsh. Now in behind for Emma Everts. Trinity players camped out in the penalty area. There's two waiting. Again, Everts can't measure the cross correctly. Tigers leaving goals on the board here. As they've finally been able to consistently break the offside line. So far, they're not consistently able to make it count. Early ball launched in behind. No one prepared to make the run from an onside position. And it's through for Rivera. Walsh wins it straight from the punt, and it's in behind for Katie Ward. No one back defending, and Katie Ward rolls it into an empty net. A new career high, 4 goals on the day for Trinity's number 4. Great assist for Alex Walsh to go along with her goal. As it stands, is the winner today. That one, a close call that maybe goes Trinity's way. As Katie Ward attempted to roll it across, but after the flag went up in a similar situation in the first half, just took it herself into the net, which was gaping, as the keeper was still caught out from her own punt. Ball in behind from Zingelman. Again, no one making the run. This time Rivera's punt, a lot more air underneath it, but still Hendricks is first to it for Trinity. Runs into a couple Schreiner players, ends up on the ground, but Trinity end up in behind. Kira Stafford takes the shot on and loses her footing at the crucial moment. Looking to add a 7th. So Katie Ward now up to 14 goals and 10 assists on the season. With a goal and an assist today. Alex Walsh up to a goal and 7 assists. Beal and Hendricks combined to win it back straight from the goal kick. And Walsh caught in the face. Wins the free kick for Trinity. Two hands raised for Katie Ward as she wants to go quickly. 5 Tigers waiting around the edge of the penalty area. They'll make their runs now. Great shape on the ball in from Katie Ward. The Mountaineers are first to it. And Zingelman will retrieve it on the far side. Reigning SCAC Defensive Player of the Week sends a great ball in for Katie Ward, who tucks home her 5th. Now a hat trick in the second half alone for Katie Ward, who's up to 5 on the day, up to 15 on the season. And an inquest at the back currently happening for the Mountaineers.
So for the Tigers,
Great ball in
Katie
from
Ward.
Zingelman. She's the latest to provide an assist for the Trinity senior out of Phoenix, Arizona. Scored 2, assisted 1 against Schreiner in the SCAC tournament last year, now up to 5 goals on the day. And I know we've done research in the past to try and determine the fastest hat trick. 53-20, 55-20, 57-19. Not bad for Katie Ward over the course of 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Finding 3 goals of her own. Schreiner continuing with the high offside line. And I think now, as Trinity have navigated it time after time in the second half, the persistence of that strategy is only going to mean more goals for the Tigers as it's sent down the line for Katie Ward. Sheridan towing the line, and Katie Ward will take it herself. She's beat the back line, and now Sheridan waits to her left where she can tuck it home. Great play from Katie Ward, who's unselfish. And grabs an assist now to go with 5 goals on the day. And that's the other way to break the offside line. If they're playing high and they're waiting for you to make the pass, just take it yourself. Go on through. And if you've got the ability of Katie Ward, sometimes it's as easy said as done. (8-1) now, with still 31 minutes remaining. Meyer forward for Hendricks, lifted in behind for Stafford. Stafford looking to get around the outside of the defender. He's tracked it down. Cuts onto her left foot. And now here's Alex Walsh. Ball bending towards Katie Ward at the back post. Cleared away by the Mountaineers. Zingelman lays it back for Stafford. Zingelman. Ball in, deflected, and Sheridan gets ahead to it, and Katie Ward pokes just wide of goal. As certainly wasn't expecting the ball to fall to her feet. Molly Sheridan, the committed challenge going in for the ball there. As Zingelman's ball forward was deflected high into the night sky, Sheridan gets ahead to it, and that catapults one of the Mountaineers defenders into her own goalkeeper. Also nearly gave Katie Ward a 6th goal on the day. Now we've got confirmation of a record-breaking night for Katie Ward. 5 goals in a game, the most for Trinity women's soccer. Previously, a whole host of Trinity players with 4 to their name, including one I've already mentioned today, Julia Camp, as well as Chelsea Cole, Hallie-Ann Duray. Now Katie Ward, who before the season didn't have a hat trick, now she has 2, including 5 tonight, the most ever in a single game. Both Tacey Howell and Audrey Rivera, who were involved in that collision for Schreiner, going to come out of the game now. A whole host of changes coming on both sides. The substitute goalkeeper is Cassandra Gomez, sophomore out of San Antonio, Texas. 00 on her back. Either injury change, Abigail Romero is in for Tacey Howell. As Bosco Bowers, Ferruzzi Wickham, and Meredith McAllister come into the game for a host of the Trinity seniors, Katie Ward, Alex Walsh, Cameron Beal, Cece Hendricks, and then Molly Sheridan as well. Katie Ward leaving the game with 11 points, 5 goals and 1 assist, breaking the single game record for both goals and points, and also moving into a tie for 10th all-time in career goals with Hallie-Ann Duray. A monster offensive night for Katie Ward, as she found a hat trick in the second half and an assist to go with it. Now level with one of the all-time top scorers for the Tigers. Even more impressive when you consider the shortened COVID season in the spring meant that she's played about 10 or so less games than you'd expect to have played at this point in a senior season. The record for career goals and career assists, both held by Emily Jorgens, 59 career goals and 88 career assists for Trinity from 2011 to 2014. Incredible numbers, really. Now, over the summer, I called a game where she's played for Lone Star Republic in the UWS, Semi-Professional Women's League. This ball in behind looking for Emma Everts. Meredith McAllister's onto it. The first-year midfielder will fight to keep this one in play and to get back to the loose ball, but she'll give up a throw-in for the Mountaineers. Taylor Merritt back on to lead the line for the visitors. Muscled that time by Myers. Bowers Leaves it off for Everts in behind for Bosco. And first time Cassandra Gomez is called into action. And she'll get 30 minutes playing back here in her hometown. Zingelman nods it forward. At the feet now of Reese Wallace. Back now with Ashlyn Zingelman in behind for Bosco and Stafford the chase. Bosco not going to give up on this one, as eventually it does come all the way through for the goalkeeper. See Trinity men's soccer warming up in the outfield of the softball field in the back of your picture. They're set to face off against the University of St. Thomas tonight. Here's Bowers, called for offside. And a face-off of two undefeated teams in SCAC play. That one should be an exciting game, both to watch and call for myself. If you're looking for some pre-match viewing in between the conclusion of this one and the start of the next, head over to the Trinity Athletics YouTube channel, or perhaps my own personal Twitter at Ryan Figured, as I got to talk with Trinity Hall of Famer Josh Card, as well as current striker Michael Meese, about their now shared goal record, scoring in 9 straight games. Trinity fans will be interested. Check that one out. As Bosco now in behind, rolls it across for Cassie Bowers. Cassie Bowers looks to get it out of her feet and fire the shot. Breaks for Bosco at the back post. And now Everts cuts it back. Here's Wickham, top of the box, cuts past her defender and fires the shot. And Kira Stafford, the latest to take a shot towards Cassandra Gomez. She's able to hold it in a flurry of offensive action. Results in nada that time for Trinity. Zingelman in for Bowers. Gets it back. Zingelman adding an assist here in the second half. Her second of the season. 2 goals as well for the transfer from the University of North Texas. Here's Wickham on the turn. Left one in behind for Everts, who went early. She couldn't hold the run. Bonnie Evans Vol down the line, intercepted by Wallace. Fired in. Looking for either McAllister or Bosco. McAllister settles it, and Wickham dumped to the turf. As Schreiner's goal scorer, Alexandra Schott, recovered possession. Now that feels like a long time ago for the visiting team. They led 1-0 5 minutes in. And from the 28th minute on, it's been all Trinity. Katie Ward with 5 goals and 1 assist. Bowers a goal and an assist. Walsh a goal and an assist. Sheridan as well, a goal and an assist. Four changes ready now for the Tigers. As Bosco able to stay onside this time. And she's released. Sprinting forward now into the penalty area. Rolls it across. Bowers arriving to meet it. Couldn't turn it goalward. Wallace shields that out of play ahead of Ashley Walbrick. one of two seniors for Schreiner. The other, Tacey Howell,
The Tigers, number 5,
grabbed a couple of goals on senior night last week. She's been replaced tonight after suffering a head injury. Wish her the best.
29, Isabel McCloskey.
Final game for the Mountaineers will be a non-conference game against Texas A&M San Antonio on the 27th. Ferruzzi looking to go in behind for Emily Hayes, who's on the field, replacing Kira Stafford. Madison Horner on the right, replacing Emma Everts. Mikulski into the back line for Reese Wallace, and Dabney Moore in for Ashlyn Zingelman. Cassie Bowers robs Schreiner of possession and puts it in behind for Bosco to chase. Cut out. Walbrick sends it down the line, and Mikulski will drop it off for Lauren Lewis. I believe maybe a first touch for the goalkeeper here in the second half. Hayes into midfield for McAllister. Everybody on side here for Trinity as it's lifted in behind for Bosco. Goalkeeper coming. Bosco takes a touch beyond her. And now what to do is she takes a shot herself. But Cassandra Gomez able to get back in time and get something on it. Corner kick coming. Mikulski up from the back line to take the corner. This is proactive goalkeeping for Cassandra Gomez, who was beat the first time but able to get back. Back in real time, the corner sent in. Hayes was closest to it for Trinity as it's dropped off now for Bailey Meyer. Meyer swings this one in. Bounces in front of the goalkeeper. 3/4 of the way now through tonight's game. Trinity on top, 8-1. Meredith Hurst shields it away from Hayes. And Horner will leave this one. Allow it to run out of play. Mikulski now set to take the throw. Dabney Moore forward for Emily Hayes. Moore, who missed the start of the season with an injury, now up to 8 appearances. All 8 coming from the bench as part of the back line. Errant pass from Ferruzzi, turns over possession to Alexandra Schott, who immediately runs in the 3 Trinity Tigers. Bowers waits, allows Madison Horner to beat the offside trap. She's down the right with plenty of targets to aim at, leaves her defender in the dust, and rolls one across, looking for Bosco. Too close to the goalkeeper. Romero's ball down the line, intercepted by Moore. Meyer sends that one into the crowd. Courtney Rosales into the game for Bonnie Evans, the junior out of Corpus Christi. Hurst tripped up. Ryan Ruiz launches this one forward. McAllister on the end of it for Trinity. Settled by Bowers. Bosco, I think, held the run just enough. And she is onside as it's rolled across the top of the box, looking for McAllister. Cleared away for the moment. But Bowers has it wide now for Horner. Cuts onto her left foot and fires the shot. Deflected into the path of Wickham. Couldn't get a touch. It's behind now for a corner. Courtney Rosales, who just came into the game, took the full force of that shot. And sometimes if you're looking to make the block and you don't lock your ankle, it can really hurt, and that may be what happened here for the first year out of New Braunfels, Texas. Looks like she'll be replaced as Trinity ready their 8th corner kick of tonight's game. One corner for Schreiner that led to their opening goal. Concern here still with Courtney Rosales, who's now back up onto her feet. It's going to be helped off the field. Quiroga is her replacement. As you see in the back of your picture, the alumni reception picking up some steam. They'll have a great vantage point for the Trinity corner. She is ready and waiting with Isabel Mikulski. As Rosales is helped off the field now. Should be all set for the Trinity corner. Mikulski's corner swung into the danger area. Bowers closest to it as Wickham looks to keep it alive. And it does break for Ferruzzi, top of the box. Launched down the field by Bailey Meyer. Hayes onto it. 3 to aim at in the penalty area. Hayes takes it herself. Over the top. And good news is Courtney Rosales is ready to come right back in.
Courtney Rosales in for Schreiner.
Quick shift for Caroline Quiroga. Is right back to the bench. Goal kick flicks off the head of McAllister on the way through. McAllister now in behind for Madison Horner. Another offside decision against the Tigers, who are preparing a couple more changes. Horner gets a foot to it from the offside kick. And ball ball in behind for Cassie Bowers, who's there first ahead of Rosales. Cassie Bowers pokes it towards the near post, just off target as the Mountaineers got back in time. Forced the shot wide of goal as Lisbeth Lopez replaces Taylor Merritt in the front line for Schreiner. Taylor Campbell and Abby Schneider into the game now. And that means that for Trinity, 22 players have now 10 appearances on the season. Schneider, the latest to reach double figures. Campbell entering into the game for the 12th time this year. Tonight's goalkeeper, Lauren Lewis, making her 6th appearance, 2nd start of the year, and it looks like it'll be a 1 goal against performance. Again for the first-year goalkeeper, just as it was against ETBU early on in September. As Campbell tripped up. Her first involvement off the bench. Mikulski lines up the free kick from 15 yards into the Schreiner half. It's a good ball towards the back post where Bosco finds it and places it in the top corner. Terrific finish off the volley for Michaela Bosco. A great service from Isabel Mikulski, who was just about 50 yards from goal. This is difficult to do. Perfect shape on it towards the back post. And despite a tangle up with Madison Horner, Michaela Bosco able to volley at home for Trinity's 9th goal on the evening. Matches their season high, and still with 14 minutes to find double figures for the first time in 2021. Plenty of players coming off the bench hungry to find a goal of their own. Horner puts it across the top of the box. Schneider gets a foot on it. And Bosco will give chase. She's got it now inside the Schreiner penalty area. McAllister whips it in. Bosco won the header and then took the contact. Referee not interested. And pointing to the spot. He hasn't done much with the whistle here in the second half besides whistling for offside. Dabney Moore retrieves the loose ball. Can't connect with a teammate. Head back towards the halfway line for Trinity throw. And another goal for Bosco. She's up to 6 to go with 6 assists now on the season. All of that coming off the bench. Campbell hasn't kept this in play. It'll be brought back for a Schreiner throw. Schreiner throw taken by Romero. Wickham shields it well. Called for a foul right on the halfway line. After discussion between the referee and Coach Harrison, we're back underway here with 11 and a half minutes to play. Coach Harrison shown a yellow card for his troubles. As the offside flag is up for the 16th time against the Tigers. Campbell onto the dribble. Just to lift one in behind for Madison Horner. It's a foot race now with Rosales. Pretty even in speed. And Rosales had the head start, so she'll draw the foul. And both teams will make one change.
In for the Mountaineers, number 14, Avery Mercer.
Avery Mercer in for the Mountaineers. And for Trinity, it's Teddy Del Preti. And we'll get the final 10 minutes. Rather, we'll wait as it's a free kick rather than a throw. Both changes still at half field, ready to come into the game. Meyer runs into trouble here. Two Mountaineer players around. And Hurst comes away with the ball, swings it in. And there's a chance for Lauren Lewis to come out and pick it up. Walrick was waiting at the back post, but it never reached her. Lewis, a booming punt down the field, and maybe a chance for a goalkeeper assist as Schneider is looking to get on the end of it. And she does track it down, but the chance seems to have gone. Oh, it's a good ball in behind for Bosco. Fires it across. And at the back post, Taylor Campbell can't turn it home. We're Trinity's 10th. And that'll be the last involvement for Michaela Bosco, replaced by her usual strike partner off the bench, Teddy Del Preti, who had 2 goals and an assist against Schreiner in Trinity's 9-0 result at last season's SCAC championship. It'll be a tall order to equal that in what remains of this game, but she'll be looking for a goal to call her own off the bench as the corner swung in, net by Campbell, and volleyed wide a goal. Natalie Talley lines up the goal kick. And they'll do it again after Trinity sends it back downfield. This one taken from the opposite side. Ferruzzi gets a foot on it in midfield. Meyer. There's one downfield looking for the run of Schneider. Ball cannons off Wickham. As Horner brings it down. Put forward for Ferruzzi. Got a goal last weekend against Austin College. Strong tackle from Horner. Leaves Rosales on the ground. As Lopez holds it up. Lays it back to Rosales, who's now back to her feet. Eventually, the Schreiner attack breaks down as it's laid all the way back for Lauren Lewis. Del Prete calling for it here. And ball came too late from Taylor Campbell. Tigers will leave it to avoid another offside call, but now the press is on. As Romero splits the initial two defenders, but it's Dabney Moore who is able to intercept. Bring the ball into the attack for Trinity. It's now with Ferruzzi. McAllister. Back for Mikulski. Assisted the latest of the Trinity goals. Won't pick up another helper here as ball too close to Cassandra Gomez, the goalkeeper. And now a chance for two more Trinity substitutes. Bella Tablante and Hannah Johnstone.
And for Trinity,
They'll get the final 5 minutes.
Bella Tablante. Number 32, Hannah Johnstone.
Wickham and Meyer to the bench. A rare 5-minute rest for Bailey Meyer as Trinity reshuffle the back line. Dabney Moore, Meredith McAllister, and Isabella Mikulski are in defense for Trinity, and they're sent retreating back to Lauren Lewis here. McAllister receives it here under pressure as Johnstone helps Trinity play out. Good work from the Mountaineers just to keep the pressure high up the field, even as the result has been long decided. Johnstone, another interception, and the ball put in behind for Horner to chase. Rosales gets there first and puts it out of play. Throw taken quickly for Meredith McAllister. Cross swung in, looking for Schneider, who wins the header. And it comes for Del Prete. Whether it was meant to be a pass or a shot. Either way, Trinity couldn't do anything with it. Johnstone with an athletic interception in midfield, and Tablante pokes it away from the Mountaineers. Back to Mikulski. Mikulski, well-weighted ball in behind now. Chance for Trinity to add number 10 as Horner fires it across. And a chance for Abby Schneider, spurned. Trinity have had a few chances down the right where they've gotten in behind uncontested and sent the ball in that was too close to the goalkeeper. That time Horner got the service just right, as did Mikulski before her. And Schneider, in what ended up being more like a finishing drill in a game-like situation, couldn't turn it into the back of the net. Mikulski fighting for it against Lopez and wins it back for the Tigers. McAllister, ball too strong, looking for Horner. 2.5 to play. Trinity's biggest margin of victory this season was 9-0. That was against Austin College a week ago today. They had a chance to equal that with Schneider moments ago. As it stands, they'll settle for a joint high in goals scored on the season. Katie Ward, their leading striker, setting the new record for most goals in a game by a Trinity player, as well as most points, with 5 goals and 1 assist. lifted towards the Trinity penalty area. Header won by Dabney Moore. Devontae works to try and keep this in play on the far side, unable to do so. Campbell puts the pressure on and wins it back. Lifted down the line for Schreiner. Schreiner late to it that time. Commits the foul against Chloe Mills. And we approach 1 minute to play here in San Antonio.
1 minute, 1 minute.
This game decided in the 29th minute by Alex Walsh, who scored off a Molly Sheridan assist. Katie Ward had found the equalizer, and she struck 4 other times, including a second half hat trick. Molly Sheridan and Michaela Bosco also on the score sheet for Trinity. And this may be their final chance to add number 10 as Schreiner gets it back to Campbell. And perhaps poetically, the offside flag goes up for the 17th time tonight. And the clock will now tick down on Trinity's final regular season home game. They're going to finish SCAC play with a 6-1 record. We'll see if that's good enough for a number 1 seed or if Southwestern will continue their unbeaten run in conference play to take that spot. Either way, next up for Trinity, an in-town matchup against the Division I opponent UTSA on Sunday. Keep an eye out for that one, as it'll provide a new test for these Trinity Tigers heading into the postseason. We'll get a look now at the goals, and there were 10 of them, starting with Schreiner back in the first half. Alexandra shot, giving the Mountaineers a shock lead. And then Trinity came roaring back in what felt like the Mountaineers poking the hive. We're going to try and track down Katie Ward, the record setter on the night. Here was her first goal for a post-game interview. Thank you so much for sticking with us here throughout the 90 minutes, and we hope you'll stick around for a few more as we interview Katie Ward and then head over to the stream for the Trinity men's game facing off against the University of St. Thomas. For now, my name is Ryan Figert, and it's been a pleasure. 9-1, Trinity is your final. Interview with Katie Ward coming. Check, check, 1, 2.